Hey guys, it's the Medical Mermaid, and this video is brought to you by my forehead because that's what we're going to talk about, my forehead reduction recovery. So let's get it. And I would like to take this moment to announce that no, I did not get monkeypox. Even though I stopped in Canada twice, stayed in Turkey for the whole surgery and a couple days of recovery, stopped in Switzerland, Amsterdam, and yeah, and I live in Florida. So yeah, team no monkeypox. Can you imagine how it felt when I made it to my Turkish hotel room and I turned on the TV and the first thing I see when I flip to the BBC channel, because it was the only thing in English, is that there's like monkeypox spreading around Europe and the Middle East and the rest of the world and Canada, and I'm just like, holy shit. So today I'm exactly 2 months post-op, 8 weeks. I know I was supposed to do this video sooner, but I've had a lot of shit going on in my life and I didn't have the time nor the privacy to be able to do it, but now I do. So we're gonna get into that. My incision, I feel like looks great. Okay, so I'm gonna brush my hair back just so that you can see. I feel like it's healing really well. I mean, it's itchy here and there, mainly on this side, but that means it's healing, so it doesn't scare me. I still have the shitty microblading here in my edges, which fucking sucks because as soon as I got back home, I know in the last video, if you guys watched the last video, I explained that before my surgery in Turkey for my hairline, I had a medical procedure done. It was a surgical procedure, and it's because I'm fighting like a really shitty health condition right now, and it's very common, but for the people that do get it, they know how much it sucks and how long of a battle it is to get rid of. So yeah, when I got back to the States, I had an appointment with my doctor and she put me on this medicine that's supposed to help my health condition to just go away. But one of the side effects is hair thinning and mild hair loss, and it's the lowest dose of this type of medication that I can take. So I'm surprised that I didn't have any shock loss, to be honest. I did lose a little bit of hair around my edges, which I've been covering up with makeup, and it's not hard to cover up. I mean, I've been covering up my edges my whole life, so it's nothing new to me. But I'm surprised that like I still have hair in the back of my head, my mid part right here, I still have hair. It still looks somewhat full. My incision, you do lose a little bit of hair around your incision, but it shouldn't be anything drastic, to say the least. And like the doctor said, I'm having hair grow through my incision, which is awesome. I've still been taking my Viviscal here and there. I'm not taking it every day because I'm having trouble losing weight, and as I explained in the last video, sometimes Viviscal can make things in your gut move a little slower than it should. In some people and other people it does the complete opposite, but to me that's what it does, and I'm trying to lose weight. I don't want to be bloated, so I'm only taking it maybe twice a week. I probably should take it a little bit more though because of the medication that I'm on. So yeah. So far, my incision looks fucking amazing. I love it. There's hair growing through it, something that a lot of doctors debate on. Some doctors claim that, yeah, hair can't grow through an incision. Well, it's growing through for me because after surgery, I literally lost all my baby hair. So these are not baby hairs. So yeah, fuck yeah. And there you go. That's my incision. It looks great. Hiding it is not hard, I promise you. Hiding it is really not hard. My hair, I typically brush it forward and then I go like this. See, just do a little bit of this and then bam. You can't see it. You really can't. Even like 2 weeks after the surgery, you really couldn't see it. And so it was really funny because family and friends that didn't know I was having this procedure done, like they would just stare at me like, something's different about her. Like she looks so pretty. Like something's just different. She doesn't look the same as before. So they would just stare at me, and I would catch them staring too, and they just couldn't figure it out. The passport dude, because obviously I don't look the same now as I did in my passport photo, which was taken years ago. So I definitely look different now. He's looking at my photo and he looks at me, looks at my photo, looks at me. Like you could tell it's me, but that something looked different. Like I just look prettier. And he's like, "Did you get a nose job?" And I'm like, no, this is my natural nose. And he looked at me like I was lying. Like, this really is my natural nose, guys. I've never even thought about getting a nose job. It's not really something I would need. I've always loved my nose. It's the one thing on my face that I wouldn't change. But yeah, I feel like overall, like, my forehead looks amazing now, okay? And I know some people are gonna say, like, oh, your forehead is still kind of big. Well, my forehead was a lot bigger, okay? And it's hard to find a photo of it from before because I tried so hard my whole life to keep it hidden. I'm just so happy that I don't have to try as hard to hide my forehead now. The proportions are perfect, okay? He didn't make it too small, like, he didn't bring it down to here because then it's just not gonna match the rest of my face. He measured my entire face to make sure that the proportions go along with the Fibonacci sequence, and it does. If my forehead was any smaller, it just would not look right, okay? I'm not meant to look like Kylie Jenner or Gigi Hadid or Zendaya. I don't have the rest of their facial features, you know, everything is kind of long. Like, I have a longer philtrum, I have a longer nose, I have a longer chin, so everything has to match, and it does. And I just feel so beautiful. I really do. Like, I feel like nothing is out of proportion anymore, and I'm so confident now. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. I feel free. Like, those chains of not being able to do certain hairstyles because my forehead was too big, like, I'm not bound by those chains anymore. The only thing holding me back now is the microblading on my edges. I'm working on that, okay? Now that I've lost a little bit of hair in my edges from the meds that I'm on, I might get it lasered off, I might not. It just depends how things go with my hair. We'll see. Or I might just deal with it until it fades. I really don't care at this point because putting a little makeup on my edges is nothing compared to what I had to do before to be able to walk outside and feel confident. So I feel like at 1 month post-op was when my incision was fully closed. I mean, it's still sensitive around here. Like, if I go like this, which, by the way, I have forehead movement. To the people who think that your head's gonna be like this and you won't be able to move your eyebrows, that's not true. I can do it all. But yeah, it feels not as tight as before. My scalp is still numb. Like, scratching my head is really funny because my head does get itchy, but I can't scratch. Like, I feel that I'm touching my head, but it's not satisfying to really scratch, so I end up having to go like this or go like that, like if I'm wearing a wig. And I try not to do that in public because then people think I'm weird. So yeah, but at 1 month post-op was when I would say that my incision was fully closed. I felt confident that it wouldn't get infected after that because the skin has already fused, and I can't really feel the sutures anymore at all. Maybe there might be like one little micro suture here and there that I could feel, but most of them have already dissolved. So at 6 weeks post-op, I went swimming in the beaches of Puerto Rico, and man, I did not give a fuck. Like, it was so amazing to just not care. I put a little bit of waterproof makeup on around my edges so that you couldn't see the microblading because it is blue over here, and that, you know, people will look at you like, what the fuck is on her head? But other than that, like, my incision wasn't even noticeable. Like, you really could not see it. With my skin tone, you just can't really tell. Unless I was to put my hair all the way back, then yeah, like, you're gonna see the little line. But aside from that, when I was at the beach, I was swimming like a mermaid, and it felt so free. I feel so confident. You have no idea the amount of confidence that I have now after this surgery. Like, I don't even care if I wear makeup now. I feel naturally beautiful, even though, you know, it's not all that natural. But you know what I mean. Like, I could go outside barefaced or maybe with just some BB cream and my eyebrows done and feel, like, so freaking confident. You do notice, like, you know, I've noticed that I get a little bit more attention now. I'm not seeking the attention or anything. I have a boyfriend. I love my boyfriend. My boyfriend loves me. So I'm definitely not out here seeking attention. But I have noticed that when I'm out in public, like, there's different type of men that approach me now versus before. And I do get a bit more attention when I'm walking down the street or I'm walking into the store and stuff. I mean, I haven't gone out clubbing or partying by myself because I'm taken. I've only had maybe one family member shade me for getting this procedure, but to be honest, it's somebody that would actually probably benefit from getting this procedure. So there was a little bit of hate behind that. So I didn't take it personally. It is what it is. Most of my family doesn't like me anyway. I wasn't really raised with them, so we're not like this, you know. I was raised with my primary family, my parents, brother and sister, pretty much alone here in Florida. Everybody else lives in New York and in the Dominican Republic, with the exception of just a couple cousins. So some things to cover about Turkey. The forehead reduction surgery over there will cost about $4,000 to $5,000. They charge you in euros though, but at the surgery center you don't need to exchange your money because they will take your dollars. They'll take whatever currency you have and convert it for you at the current rate. And when it comes to the cost of your procedure, it really depends on how many other procedures you want to do with it. Like if you just want to do your forehead reduction surgery, it's going to be a little more versus if you were to get your forehead reduction and a lip lift and an eye lift and all this other stuff. They'll give you discounts on each procedure if you buy more procedures. Which I was like this close to getting a lip lift. Like I was like this close to getting a lip lift, man. But then I decided, you know what? No, not that I didn't trust the doctor. He's a great doctor. He did a great job. Dr. Senji-san Kelly, he's freaking amazing. But his specialty is forehead reduction and a few other things. I never really saw any lip lifts that he had done on his portfolio. So it's kind of like going to a cardiologist for kidney surgery, if you know what I mean, or going to a doctor that specializes in BBLs for breast implants. Like if I do decide to go along with a lip lift, which I'm not really sure yet because I have a lot of tooth show in my upper lip, but I have a long philtrum, which is why I want to get the surgery done, is to shorten my philtrum and have just that overall beautiful feminine face, maybe a little cartoony. But I would prefer to go to a doctor that specializes in that, that's done a lot of that. The same way I went to Dr. Senji-san Kelly because he specializes in forehead reductions. Long story short, I didn't get it because I don't want to be an experiment. I also wanted to mention that my procedure came with one free PRP session to my incision. So if you don't know what PRP is, that's basically when they draw your blood and they put it through this machine to pretty much separate your red blood cells, white blood cells, all your other blood cells from your plasma. And so they take your plasma and re-inject it into whatever area they're working with. So in my case, it was my hairline incision. And the point of doing this is so that the incision heals faster, which I found this very useful. But they also do this for a lot of other reasons, like during facials. They do like plasma facials in certain clinics, and that's supposed to help you stay young. I mean, we all know about adrenochrome, so this shouldn't be shocking. My doctor had recommended that I get 3 sessions of PRP injections to my hairline incision, but out here, that's really expensive. It's like $1,000 for 1 session, and I think they do a bundle of 3 for like $1,800. Yeah, no, sorry. I wish I could have. Like, how can you charge me so much to take something out of my body and inject it back into my body? You're definitely not charging me for the product, okay? That machine cannot be that expensive. And you're not charging for skill because it can be administered by a technician instead of a doctor or even a nurse practitioner. And those little plastic vials don't even cost that much. I mean, we typically get them from freaking China, so stop it. So yeah, I just had to go on a little rant about that because it doesn't make sense. I'm sure it would be great for the incision. I'm sure it has a lot to do with why my incision healed as great as it did, along with all the vitamins I was taking. I took all my medications religiously within that first month. So that PRP definitely worked, I would say. I mean, I can't tell you if it did or didn't, but I feel like it really did. I know a lot of other people, when they get this type of surgery, their incision forms like a keloid scar and looks all crazy and dark, and mine looks amazing. So if you can afford the PRP, you should totally get it. So some useful tips when booking your flight: do not book your flight back home on a Monday, okay? Because you're gonna need time to get a PCR test to get back into the US. They're gonna require it, they're gonna check for it at each stop. If you have a connecting flight, each stop that you go to, they're required to check that, and they will. They did for me. So do not book your return flight on a Monday, because on Sundays and Saturdays, you know, most medical offices are closed in Turkey, especially on Sundays. Like, everyone's closed on Sunday except a couple restaurants and bars and stuff, because they cater to a different crowd. But as far as the type of offices and clinics that would do your COVID swabs, yeah, they're gonna be closed on Sunday. Do not book your return flight on a Monday. You need time to get a PCR test done, and it has to be within a certain time frame before your flight, or else they're not going to allow you to go back home. If you're coming from the US, that is. If you're coming from a different country, you would have to research how it goes in your country. I definitely recommend getting a direct flight if possible. Both of my flights, my flight there, my flight back, I had 2 stops in between, so that really sucked, but it was the cheapest option. You know, just book this in advance and try to get a direct flight if possible. If you can't get a direct flight, then make sure that there's only 1 stop with enough time for your luggage to get from flight A to flight B if you are checking in a bag. I would recommend that you don't, but with clothes being so cheap in Turkey and just everything being so cheap in Turkey, it would have been nice to actually bring like a large checked bag to just bring stuff home. Another thing you want to consider though is certain European airlines have weight restrictions, and they're very strict with it, and you'll get charged crazy ass fees for just going a kilogram, because they go by kilograms and not pounds, by going a kilogram over what you're allowed to bring. I've had it happen to me, not on this trip, but on trips that I have taken before to Europe. That happened to me, and it really sucked. Like in London, I ended up having to pay $100. I don't remember what it was in pounds, but it was literally equal to $100 because my bag was like a pound over, and that fucking sucked. The flight over there is about $1,000 if you're coming from the US, so keep that in mind. You can get it a little bit cheaper if you book a couple months in ahead. Like, I would say at least 4 months before I even decided to go to Turkey, I was looking at flights just to see how much everything would cost and average it out. And I did see a lot of flights for like $600, $700 instead of the typical $1,000. But that also has to do with the month that you're trying to go over there. Like, flights always cost more in June and July and August, because those are very popular fly times. Kids are out of school and families are able to fly and take vacations around those times. Another thing is, no matter how cheap it is, please do not fly with Canada Airlines, okay? They lost my luggage. I didn't get it back till the day before I had to go home. And that really sucked, to be out there getting surgery in a foreign country without my stuff that I packed, without my clothes and my hair products, with no makeup. It just really fucking sucked, having to buy the things that I needed in order to just make it through the week. And at least in Turkey, things for me were really, really cheap, because Turkey is a bit more of a poor country, so things over there are a lot cheaper. And my phone keeps showing me these articles about how there's families that are trying to go to Europe, to go to like Rome and places that are very expensive in Europe. And Canada Airlines loses their luggage and ends up costing them like 10 grand, 15 grand on their vacation. Imagine like a whole family of 5 or 6 flying out to somewhere that's really expensive on their dream vacation, and now it's ruined because Canada Airlines lost their luggage and they have to go spend thousands of dollars to just replace everything and get by. And I'm sure that messes up your whole itinerary too, because when you fill out that little form, when you lose your luggage, you gotta give them a drop-off address. So you literally, stay at your drop-off address, which might be the first hotel you pick because you're thinking that they're going to get it back to you quicker than they really do, and they don't. So you're staying at your first drop-off address, your first hotel or whatever, and your luggage never arrives, and now like your whole vacation is fucked because you have to figure out a way to get your luggage back. And Canada Airlines is just fucking awful. Like, I don't even understand why there's still an airline at this point. Like, there should be some type of law that if you're out here losing people's luggage, you should not be allowed to operate as an airline. Avoid Canada Airlines at all costs unless you want to be out there with no luggage like me. As for the weather in Turkey, I heard that it gets really cold on some months and really hot in other months, especially in the summer. It's like unbearable, I've heard. But when I went in May, it was perfect. It was cold at night, warm during the day. It was very comfortable weather. So I definitely recommend going in May. May was perfect. June and July, I probably would have died. It would have been too hot. So overall, my post-op experience has been very positive. I feel very confident. I used to be an ugly duckling and now I'm a swan, bitch. I'm a fucking flamingo. And yeah, I feel so beautiful. And this might not be the same for everybody. Surgery carries risk. I'm grateful that I didn't have any complications, but some people have reported to me that they've gone to get the same surgery and they're having crazy ass complications. So keep that in mind for not just this surgery, but for any surgery that you ever plan to do. It carries risk and you may not be lucky. And I would love to give a big warm shout out to Dr. Senji Kaale and the Asterian Clinic over there in Istanbul, Turkey. You guys rock and I feel fabulous. So yeah, and this, by the way, was not like a promo vid. It was not a paid video. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm doing this video out of the kindness of my heart, knowing that people close to me are gonna see it and that I'm gonna be judged by others. So I'm doing this because as I was looking for information on this procedure, I couldn't really find videos of other girls who have done it. Like if you look up BBL and breast implants, you see tons of videos of girls that have done it, but this procedure is not very common and it's very expensive. So I just want you guys to be informed and know what your options are when you plan for this. If you plan for this or if you're just considering it, I want you to have some information on it so that you don't feel lost. So I'm doing this out of literally the kindness of my heart. So yeah, I hope you guys find this video very helpful. If there's something that you want to know that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to comment. Let's keep my comments a nice, positive, happy place. Like and subscribe for more content. Okay, and I hope everything goes well as planned, and I hope your lives are just full of happiness and joy and high self-esteem. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.